My motto is from functioning to feeling. And since I have just come upon a situation or a short time in my life where I was really close to going back into functioning mode, I would like to share with you some signs on how you can feel or see that you are in functioning mode and what helps me to get out of it. And I do know I come from a privileged situation. Not everyone has the same amount of time that I have, and not everyone has the same resources. So I do know that for you, it might not be the same as for me, the parts that resolve the problem. But believe me, you don't need as much time as you might think. So, I just had a lot on my plate. And I came to a point where I thought, okay, I can do it all. I can be on social media. I can report my podcasts and videos, and I can go to networking events and gatherings and markets, and I can do it all. And of course, at the same time, run a household and have my children and. And in February, that is just last month, I stepped back from that and thought for myself, like, no, I can't do it all right now. I do need to pause some of the stuff because it's just too much. And why did I come to that conclusion? Because I felt like it. My body felt like it. And the three big signs were brain fog. Literally, it was really difficult for me to focus on anything because my brain was fogged up. It was just like I knew I had these tasks and I knew there was a to-do list and I knew that I wanted to do ABCs and so on. But it was so difficult for me to keep the focus that it's like something's wrong here because normally it's not like that. So when I realized that that is a thing, I basically took the step back. The second one was I didn't feel like it. I didn't have motivation because the thing is, I love my business. I love the podcasts and the videos. Maybe not that much the social media part, but I do love being there for my clients and my business and everything. And it was getting a bit difficult and I was missing the motivation. And that was a clear sign that something was wrong. Because when you do something that you love so much, then usually it's not that difficult to find the motivation to do everything about it. I mean, some parts, of course, are more difficult than others, but that's a different topic. But the stuff that you love, like, for example, recording videos and do the podcast, when that is getting difficult, then there's a good reason. And the reason was I needed a break. The third sign was I wasn't feeling good, like I didn't have a lot of energy. And even though I managed to during this time do a lot of yoga and therefore something like self-care, and I did read a lot of books, which is also me time and self-care, I didn't feel that my battery was recharging. I basically felt quite low on energy and quite empty. And do you know this feeling close before you feel like, oh, maybe I'm coming down with something, maybe I'm having a cold soon? That was like it. Like there wasn't enough energy in my system. And those three signs told me I have to take a break. And I have to reconnect back to myself because when I'm in a mode like that, I know, okay, I will start functioning soon. And that is exactly what I don't want to do. So I did take the break. I did do less work on these fields and I did do the reconnection. And how do I do the reconnection? I do a body awareness. And that helps me a lot. And that is exactly the point where I would say, like, everyone can do this. And when you say, for example, yeah, but I don't have the time, I would ask you, how much time do you spend on your phone? Because that is something that we can look into the statistics of our phone and just see how much time we spend there. And if you would, let's say, and I know that is quite low, but let's say you spend an hour on social media every day, then just spend 45 minutes on it and take 15 minutes for yourself. Or if that is too drastic, take even less, take 5 minutes. But just these 5 minutes that you take are so, so good, and they are the real game changer. That part where you can eventually reconnect to yourself. Yeah, so when I do the reconnection, the grounding, I do start focusing on my breath. So I really, you know, inhaling, exhaling, getting a really slow pace going. And at some point, I close my eyes. And then I basically go through my body parts. I usually like to start at my feet and then I go up through my legs and further on until I'm in my head. And then I try to engage in the relaxation process that is starting there, that I do invite more relaxation into the system, or I do invite a different energy or a different feeling that I would like to have, like, for example, motivation. Just going back into when you are at that point in your system, and then just going back and focusing and basically just telling yourself motivation. I want more motivation. And then try to spread this motivation through your body. And that is, of course, something that easy for me to say like this because I have trained in it and I do it really often. But I, of course, know it can be quite difficult if you come from a certain part, especially when you do function a lot, that it is really difficult to say. And often enough, it also doesn't feel safe for us to sit down and just be quiet and calm and reconnect. So for some people, it's a different path, but I can only invite you to start trying it. And if you would like to try to do it by yourself, I did record an MP3 that you can just download and use whenever and how often you would like it. You can subscribe to my newsletter and then you can just download the MP3 and use it for your own goods. And that is quite helpful, I've been told. So that is one way to do it. Or if you feel like I can't do it on my own at all, then connect and get in contact with me because often enough, especially when it doesn't feel safe for us to sit down and reconnect, and when it doesn't feel, if you don't feel like it's not safe, you might feel in that moment that you just can't sit down. It's like your body wants to keep moving, or you do want to get up, or you don't even make it to the couch because you are in hassle mode. Or if you do sit on the couch, you do need to have your phone in your hand and scrolling, stuff like that. When you are in that mode, then it might just not feel safe for you to do it by yourself. But it's worth giving it a try, even to just figure out if the safety is the problem. And then there is a solution to it because you can let go of that pattern. You can reconnect to your system. And that is something where I can support you and where we could go this way together. So if you're interested in the MP3, come into my newsletter. And if you are interested to connect and work on the reconnection to your body, then get in touch with me. And I'll see you in the next video.